My name is Bob Rager. I work community relations for Maryland State Highway. And for the record, just so you know, I live about 3 minutes from the Welcome Center down off of White Marsh. So I drive these crossovers a lot like all of you do. Drive the corridor a lot, and a lot of us who work at State Highway in the shops in the district office, we drive these roads a lot, and we have the same concerns that you do. So it's just good that everybody's coming out. What we want to do is have a discussion. We're going to have a short presentation just to let you know what we're doing and why. We'll have a question and answer after that. But again, we want to keep this casual, informal, and we want to just have a good, civil, respectful discussion. And I know a lot of people are still hurting from some of the crashes this summer. A lot of people are still angry. A lot of people are frustrated. We understand that. Again, you know, we live and work here. We drive these roads. We understand the concerns and we share those concerns. So I would just ask that if you have a cell phone, go ahead and put it on mute if you can. Make sure that doesn't ring in. This is being recorded by Queen Anne's County Television. It's not broadcast live, but it is being recorded. When we have the question and answer, if you don't mind, if you could come up to the microphone here so we can get you on, recorded into the system here as part of the meeting. What we really want to do, again, is just do a quick presentation and run through and show you what we're doing out here and why. And you'll see the QR code on the screen here. If you want, you can come up and scan this now or later. We'll have it on the last slide as well. We'll leave it up for the rest of the meeting. That code will link to the website where we have this presentation. So if you have any more questions about that, you can go back to it any time later on. So with that, any questions to start? For what it's worth, bathroom through that door. That's always an important one, I know. So Ken, do you want to do this? Do you want me to get started on this? Yes, it is.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm Ken Fender, District Engineer for State Highway. I've met a lot of you folks before the meeting, but we look forward to a good conversation, cordial conversation about some of the things that we've looked into, some things that we've noticed with some of our traffic studies, and we've kind of come up with a presentation that explains why we did what we did and what our future plans are for the crossover itself. So again, if you have questions, we'll go through the presentation. Probably the best way to do this is go through the presentation. And I think Bob actually made a suggestion. If you notice a slide has a number or something associated with it, we'll go through the presentation first. If you notice something that catches your eye you want to talk about, jot it down. Just remember what slide we're on, and we'll come back and we can revisit that. So that way we can keep this going. Try to get everybody's information. Even if you don't get a chance to talk today, I will give you my business card as well as my staff traffic section is here as well. You can always reach out to me directly, to Bob directly, and introduce Bob, Rich Baker. Rich is my traffic engineer for the district office. So District 2, our responsibility area, covers the 5 counties on the Upper Eastern Shore, which includes Cecil, Kent, Queen Anne's, Caroline, and Talbot County. So it's a pretty long stretch of highway. 301 goes through Cecil, Kent, and all the way down into Queen Anne's County. So pretty long stretch of road. It's over 40 miles long. And we're going to touch on the fact that some of the traffic volumes have increased over the past couple of years for several reasons. But also I'd like to point out some of your elected officials are here as well. So just to kind of give them a little praise for being here, because they're definitely interested in what's going on out on the highway as well. So Commissioner Wilson, don't mind. And Patrick McLaughlin, Commissioner McLaughlin's in the back here. And we have Scott Haas with the EMS for Queen Anne's County. Oh, I couldn't see it. And also Commissioner Jim Moran in the back here as well. He's hiding in the back, but I want to thank these guys for coming out as well too. It says a lot about their interest in this, and we just want to make sure we do what's right for you all, listen to you guys. And again, we had some conversation before the meeting started, which is good. It's a very casual meeting, talking about some things that we need to do and get your input on it as well. So if you're with that, we'll go ahead and start with the presentation. All right, the first slide talks about why we closed Maryland 405 again. It's pretty self-explanatory. We had 6 crashes from October 2024 through the June 25 when we had to open it back up. During that period of time, we had a couple of fatalities, which one thing I want to say too is we're not going to go into details about any of the incidents or the accidents, especially the fatalities. We want to just focus on what we've done to help improve the crossover, what our future plans are, and just moving forward. So we want to keep this focused on that, let alone so we know, so you all know what our intent is. So we wanted to take a look at this. We closed it to see if there's anything that might have changed with the flow of traffic, and I think we did find some interesting facts that kind of helped us determine where to move forward with the next things that we implemented out there. So the numbers are pretty staggering. If you look at this, the graph shows pretty much exactly what's going on. We had 66 crashes. The majority of the crashes take place on the westbound side as you're traveling across southbound 301. That is for some reason, and we think we know why, some of the reasons anyway, but that's where all the incidents and accidents are taking place. So since 2019 or January 2020 through 2025, we had a total of 66 crashes, which is pretty high. In comparison, some of the other crossovers, 405 eastbound at 301 was 6, and the other locations are just 2 and 6. So the numbers definitely show that the westbound side of 405 crossing over to heading towards Churchill is the majority of the incidents out there. So again, it just shows some of the data that we've collected with the amount of accidents that we've had over the years. So it's just another, again, my voice is kind of quiet and I have a tendency to lose my voice. So if you can't hear me for any reason, just speak up and I'll be happy to move around a little bit more. So again, it's just some of the data we collected. One thing that really kind of stands out, 64 of the 66 crashes happened during the daytime during sunny, dry conditions, which is kind of a unique anomaly that's taken place here. And we've actually collected some data to kind of show what might be happening during that time, but we'll go into that a little bit later as well. So again, just more crash data. Okay. This is one of the things that we've noticed some of our staff, as well as some of the input we've got from some of the folks in the community. This references the pillar of the vehicle. When you're going westbound on 405, coming up to southbound 301, if you don't angle your vehicle, come around and shift it to where you get a clear view of what's coming down 301, that pillar can actually block the vehicles as they're approaching the crossover. So that's one of the things we looked at where, you know, we made some modifications out there for we call them silly sticks, but they're delineators to kind of help force the people to come around to look through the windshield. So that was one of the things that we've done on top of other things as well. But that's one of the things that we think might have been creating an issue out there. So creates a major blind spot. This was what we did originally. The second time we opened it back, or the first time we opened it back up, we noticed that, again, this goes back to what I was talking about, the traffic coming out this direction. We were trying to force everybody to look to the right. It gives you a clear shot looking up through your windshield to see the cars as they're coming southbound on 301. If you don't angle your vehicle correctly at that point, you lose any traffic that's coming southbound from your A-pillar of your car. And it only takes a couple seconds to lose that. So, I mean, it's some of the vehicles we have nowadays, the pillars are pretty wide. So they can block tractor trailers, everything else coming down through there. So this was our first attempt to shift the traffic, to make them shift over to where you look directly through your windshield. But we did find out that after we did that, go back to that one, Bob. If you notice, this was a Google image. So we pulled this up, but if you notice, all three of these cars, what they're doing is they're riding over that hashed section of the crossover. That was not what we laid out there, so they weren't following the correct flow coming up to that crossover. So that's one of the things we made modifications to. So Bob, if you want to go to the next one. This is where we kind of did a little bit more channelizing. And again, this forces people as they approach the crossover to shift to the right, to look through the windshield, to kind of make sure they have a better visual of what's coming southbound on 301. So this is an interesting graph Bob put together. Just talks about your reaction times depending on the speed of the vehicles that are coming southbound on 301. It's just, I don't know. I know a lot of the comments from folks in the area. I do keep up with Facebook, so I have been seeing what's been posted on Facebook for this community. I'm not a big Facebook fan. I don't agree to a lot of times how it's used, but I did get some good information about what you all are seeing out there as well to what we can do. So we did some modifications out there. If you're looking northbound, we trimmed the trees back, cutting back pretty substantially. But you have almost 1,200 feet, if not longer, a little bit farther now, which is about a quarter-mile sight distance coming southbound. So this is one of the issues we were talking about. I was just talking about the shadowing. If you notice, the truck sitting on the shoulder of the road, doesn't have lights on, and it's kind of blending in with the rest of the traffic. So that's one of the things that we were noticing. This section of road, you've got very large trees on both sides in the median, also on the shoulders as well. So, and it has a lot of overcast throughout this entire section. It could be totally sunny throughout the day, but this always has, for some reason, has a lot of shadowing effect coming through there. And again, just take notice that the truck has no headlights on, and the fact it's kind of lost in the shadow. So. All right, this is just another look at what's coming down, how you kind of, the post on the right-hand side is actually not, it's a section where it's not overcast, so it's not blacked out by the clouds or anything. It's a little easier to see, but then if you go back again to the left slide, you just lose track of whatever's there if they don't have their headlights on. One of the reasons we wanted to sit here and have this conversation with you all, it's not about saying people are doing things wrong. You know, it's horrific what some of the folks have been through. I've had a good conversation with some of the folks in here this morning that have lost, or this afternoon, that have lost family members, loved ones. And this meeting is just to talk about what we can do to make things safer for here on out. So I couldn't imagine what some of the family members have gone through. You know, I really couldn't. I couldn't imagine losing a mother, daughter, wife, anybody for something like I said. This is no way, shape, or form. This meeting is not to point the finger about what somebody has done, you know, to make it look like they did something wrong. It's all human nature. There's a lot of variables in this presentation, and what we've found out from the studies that we've conducted, that there's a lot of things that could be causing some of these accidents to happen. So that's why we're here to talk about them, bring it to everybody's attention, ask you all to reach out to your family members, your friends, everybody else. And I don't think that's a problem. It sounds like, you know, from some of the folks I've talked to, it's a very tight community here. So talk to each other. You have kids traveling these roads, talk to them, and just make sure they're aware of, you know, take a few extra seconds, just be more aware of what's going on, and just try to be safe. It's all the roads nowadays are scary. It's gotten worse coming down through this section with the volume of traffic picking up 30%. And I know there's a lot of discussion going back and forth about Delaware, what happened when they dualized coming down into Maryland, which it did increase the volume. So that's something we've been dealing with as well. But again, this is not to point the fingers. We're here to talk about what we can do to make it better and safer for everybody. So, all right. Which some of the things we've actually done, this is short-term modifications, additional striping, pavement marking modifications. For you guys that don't know the term, a rumble strip. If you drive 301, you'll hit those bars that are laid out across both lanes of traffic coming to the intersection. That's one thing to kind of make it the traveling public, make them aware that they're coming into something's there, just to pay attention. We did additional speed warning signs. They're called speed display boards. It's not a radar detection. So it's just to tell everybody what their speed is, what the posted speed is, and how fast they're traveling. Right now it's set at 55 mile an hour. So if you're coming faster than 55 mile an hour, it's going to flash at you and say you're going above the speed limit. So we've got both of those out on the northbound and the southbound side. Additional delineators, like I said, the mandatory headlight use, that is a major one. So I think with the mandatory headlight use requirement coming through there, that overshadowing, the casting of the shadows over the roadway, that will help people sitting there, trying to go westbound on 405, crossing over 301. That will definitely make the people sitting there have a little bit better visual of what's in the intersection. So even if it just, you see, if it helps one person, it's worthwhile. So we're looking to do this throughout the entire corridor of 301, mandatory headlight use, because it does work. So long term, we are looking at and we have a presentation here, a little slide that shows what our plan is for the J-turn. We are in the beginning design phase of this. We've received funding to move forward with the development phase of this, the preliminary phase, and this is what it looks like. So I don't know if you guys can see this well. Bob actually made some presentations to give out to you, some hard copies. So if you guys want one of those, it's easy to see. But if you look at this, excuse me, crossover heading westbound into Churchill, we're going to be taking this whole movement out of the crossover. So you're not going to be able to make that left to go west across the median to cross over into southbound 301 to head into Churchill. So that's the biggest movement with all the accidents that are created. That's what's happening out there. So we're taking that out of the picture. So all this traffic is going to have to go up 301. We're going to create a U-turn further north, coming back. And somebody had made a mention, which is a great idea, about having an acceleration lane as you come off of, you turn around and coming back on southbound on 301 to merge into the traffic. So we've got a lot of J-turns within the district. Some of the more noted ones are on 404, heading down through towards the ocean. We had a lot, when they dualized that down through there, they put a lot of J-turns in. We had to go back and do some modifications for some of our farming communities as well, just to help them out. So, but I think this is really going to lower the impacts. You're taking that movement out of the picture, and it should definitely make it a lot safer. So, and again, we're looking at this right now. We're in the preliminary stages of design. Next phase is going to be construction funding, which we don't see that being a problem. I know it might be a couple years out, but we're going to do everything we can to expedite this process. So, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory here. Social media, talking about the Facebook. I know you guys have a pretty healthy Facebook community down here, which is great. I mean, it's great to see the comments coming out, some of the suggestions that we received, and we are looking at those, making sure that we're incorporating everything that is being discussed, not only tonight but in the past as well, to in the future, and make sure that we're doing the right thing for the community down here. So, contact information down below. That's my contact information. I'm the district engineer, Rich Baker, my assistant district engineer for traffic, and Mr. Bob Rager, my community relations manager. So if you guys have any further questions after the meeting, if you don't get a chance to talk about it now, feel free to reach out to us to talk, ask any questions. We're happy to discuss whatever with you guys.
For more information or to provide suggestions, scan the QR code or contact any of the SHA staff on this screen.